And we'll have a look at, in the next few minutes, we'll have a look at what is lean really, why do we need to use lean, when did it start and where it come from and all those things, and where is it really applicable. So in the early 80s, 1980s, there was this big manufacturing boom happening, and a lot of things got manufactured, especially with the assembly line structure. We had these huge car companies all the way from the Americas to the Europes to the Japan, everywhere. A lot of people are manufacturing cars, full-fledged, big time. During that time, there was obviously, they noticed that there was some way that they could kind of identify where the waste is happening and how they could try and eliminate, or if not eliminate, reduce this waste. And that's where Toyota in the late 1980s started off with what they call as the lean manufacturing. So it's all about identifying the waste, understanding where the problems are, how can we reduce the downtime, how can we utilize some of these techniques, and how we can implement on the shop floor in the assembly line of the factories, so that they could minimize the waiting time, increase the production, increase the quality, improve the quality. And that's where lean really started. And from there on, there was no waiting. So from there, round about the late 1990s or even early 2000s, the lean started slowly coming into the software development as well. So we in agile software development, product management, we use lean to a great extent. And one of the ways in which you can kind of describe or define lean is that it basically helps you to understand where the possible potential waste is really, and then how you can eliminate that, and thereby you can create some kind of value in the process. How can you increase the value generation and decrease the waste? So that's essentially what lean is all about. As we discussed, it was originally a manufacturing setup or a production practice around about 80s, but then we started seeing the value of it, and then that's how it actually found its place slowly into the software development aspect as well. So when we talk about lean, it's all about, as we discussed, it's to identify what are the resources that we have got at the moment. Where is the point where the resources are being used in excess in terms of either the usage or the consumption, or even, for example, if you're trying to spend a lot of time, the resources could be people, it could be software, it could be the soft assets, or it could be the time. All of these could be the resources. So anywhere where there is an expenditure, where there's a lot of expense of these resources without creating value, that is basically essentially waste. So value from what perspective? Value from the point of view of the end customer, the end user. So that's where really how we define waste as, and that has to be eliminated. So first and foremost, it is important to identify who is important in the whole context. And that's where lean says that end customer, end users, they are the important stakeholders. Those are the kind of points of reference for us. If you do not deliver any value, any perceived value according to these people, that is the customers or the users, then that potentially can be termed as waste. So that could be anything. It could be the software, excess software, it could be too many features that you have put into your product. It could be the latest functionality that you've delivered through your product, device, or software that is not delivering any perceived value, then that is waste. So it needs to be dropped off, and a new feature, a new way of looking at it needs to be improved. And that's exactly the structure, the thinking of lean. It's all about removing that excess fat, excess waste, and making sure that we're focusing on what it matters the most when it comes to software or product or even life. And that's why in fact, in the last few years, we've actually got this fitness consciousness coming into the picture, people as well, right? A lot of people want to be fit, which is good, because we had been consuming too many things which are not required, too many aspects of our lifestyle, of the way we work, the way we live, is actually contributing to waste. And that's why we're actually putting on a lot of flab and fat. So to remain fit and lean is also important goal that people have been having on a daily basis, because if you are lean and if you're fit, then that means that you're actually making yourself more immune, and thereby your disease, your exposure to the diseases and the viruses and the bacteria and all these are going to reduce, right? So essentially the same thinking. It's not different at all. So what we have in that context is basically how you can create that value. How can you remain lean and fit, and then still try and deliver value to yourself as a person as well as a business? And that's why Eric Rice, he actually came up with a concept called as lean startup. It's all about how as a business you should try and remain lean and slim. It's all about not putting on too many layers of hierarchies, and how you can try and make an impact, deliver value quickly. So again, as we discussed, why it is important in that context, it is about delivering value to the customers, to the users, to the stakeholders, through your products, through your services, and through your any offerings that you have. That's what is value all about. And when you talk about lean, it's focused on delivering that value, preserving that value with less work. It's about the efficiency. It's not about putting in thousands of people at work and delivering one small piece of feature. It's about how you can deliver 100 features with a lean team. That's where people are going towards DevOps. People are going to Agile, all these kind of setups that we have got with the teams now. It's a no-brainer. Previously, used to have so much of hierarchical structures I was talking about even last week. So we have got this program manager, portfolio manager, then project manager, then you've got team lead, then tech lead, then module lead, then the developers, then all these testers, and everybody comes in. So much of hierarchy, so much of flab, and so much of fat in the way that we get the work done in a software development. All of that is now gone. I mean, it's thrown out of the window. Now we have actually got empowered teams. You don't have so much of hierarchy or so much of reporting nowadays. You don't have the self-appointed leaders. You don't have any kind of people saying, oh, you need to report to them. No, everybody is a leader now, including the developers, the testers. We all are a team. We all work towards one goal, that is to deliver the product quick and with limited effort and resources. And lean manufacturing on that point, because again, I want to actually pivot this to the context of where it started, because as we discussed, manufacturing and the production was where lean really started. That's the origin of lean. So we would just try and in the course of today's and tomorrow's session, I'll just introduce a few principles and practices which started from the production manufacturing setup, and how that is relevant and how that's actually made more practical in the agile software development context. So one thing is obviously the optimizing of the flow, how you need to really optimize the flow. Again, it correlates and it kind of rings the bell with what we did the last week, which is about Kanban, right? So it's all about the flow. It's about how you can flow the work from one person to another, from one resource to another, from one stage to another. So the same with the lean as well. How can we try and optimize this flow without actually having too much of wastage, too many dropouts, too many defects in the process? And increasing efficiency, very important, even in the context of software development. How can you deliver more with less? So that's the whole idea. More with less is the kind of context around this. Decreasing waste, very important. So you're not about trying to add more and more flab and fat. It's about trying to eliminate waste wherever you can. In the next few slides, I'm going to talk to you about what this waste is in the context of both manufacturing, of course, and the software development. And we'll also have a look at some of the important aspects of how we can use the techniques, the methods, the empirical methods, which are logical, which are more practical ways of identifying the waste and taking decisions that would help us increase the value. It's not about just doing things for the sake of it. You need to question why we are doing something the way we are doing. It's about why and also why not sometimes. Why not? Why can't we do this way? Why can't we approach things in a better way? Why can't we have DevOps? Why can't we have the developers taking the decision to integrate the whole pipeline? Why can't they just put the product straight into the production environment, thereby reducing the dependency on the infrastructure team? So all of these questions need to be asked, and we get the right answers